It began with a signal. On the edge of human-colonized space, deep within the Oort fringe, the United Nations space exploration vessel Audax intercepted a transmission. It was not human. Nor was it any of the electromagnetic phenomena catalogued by centuries of astrophysics. It pulsed with mathematical precision, resonated on frequencies too harmonious to be random, and carried a signature that screamed one undeniable truth. They weren't alone. Commander Elena Trask stood at the bridge of the Audax, her eyes fixed on the holographic projection of the data. The crew around her buzzed with energy, their voices sharp with excitement and trepidation. "Run it through the AI translator again," Trask ordered, her voice calm but taut. The AI Neptune 7 responded instantly, its neutral tone filling the bridge. Translation attempt yielding no linguistic matches. Signal exhibits non-terrestrial origin, consistent with intelligent design. High probability of contact with alien life. For a moment, the bridge was silent, the weight of those words settling over the crew. Humanity had long speculated about first contact, but now that it was here, the reality felt surreal. "Commander," Lieutenant Jax Benton interrupted, his eyes wide. "We're receiving a second signal. This one's visual." Trask turned sharply toward the comm station. On screen, the main holographic display flickered to life, revealing an alien vessel unlike anything humanity had ever conceived. It was colossal, an angular behemoth of iridescent metal that shimmered like liquid under starlight. Strange glyphs pulsed along its hull, and its design defied conventional physics, with segments that seemed to fold in and out of dimensions. The crew stared in awe and unease. "It's massive," Benton whispered. "Easily 10 times the size of the Audax. And it's approaching," Trask said, her voice low. A silent approach. The alien vessel closed the distance with an eerie elegance, gliding through the void as if propelled by an invisible current. The Audax's sensors struggled to keep up, throwing error codes as they tried to analyze the craft. "Neptune, what's their trajectory?" Trask asked. "They are maintaining a non-hostile vector," the AI replied. "Distance to contact, 50,000 kilometers and closing." Trask leaned on the command console, her mind racing. This was uncharted territory. The United Nations Space Command (UNSC) protocols for first contact were clear. Establish peaceful communication, avoid provocation, and above all, document everything. "Send the universal greeting signal," Trask ordered. Benton activated the transmitter, broadcasting a sequence of mathematical constants, prime numbers, Fibonacci sequences, and geometric patterns, designed to demonstrate humanity's intelligence and peaceful intentions. The alien vessel responded immediately. A burst of light erupted from the ship, forming a three-dimensional projection between the two vessels. The image showed a creature that defied human comprehension, an amorphous, translucent entity that seemed to ripple with colors and patterns. It had no discernible face, yet its presence was overwhelming. Trask straightened, her heart pounding. "Is this their envoy?" Before anyone could answer, the projection shifted. Symbols appeared in the air, glowing glyphs that twisted and reformed in rapid succession. "Neptune," Trask said, her voice tight. "Can you interpret that?" The AI hesitated, an unusual pause. "The symbols do not correlate to any known language. However, they appear to be an inquiry." The UNSC fleet. The Audax wasn't alone in the Oort fringe. Humanity's push into interstellar space had been cautious, backed by military might to protect against the unknown. Less than a light hour away, the UNSC 7th Fleet waited on high alert. Trask activated the secure channel. "This is Commander Trask of the Audax to Admiral Keegan. We've made contact. Sending visual data now." On board the flagship Resolute, Admiral Nathan Keegan watched the transmission from the Audax with a grim expression. The alien vessel dwarfed anything in the human arsenal. Still, Keegan's confidence was unshaken. "Commander," Keegan said, his voice steady, "maintain peaceful communication. If they make any hostile moves, the 7th Fleet will be ready to intervene." Trask's jaw tightened. "Understood, Admiral. Let's hope it doesn't come to that." The projection of the alien envoy flickered, its glyphs becoming more erratic. "Commander," Neptune interjected, "their signals are intensifying. This may indicate urgency." "What do they want?" Benton asked. "That's what we're going to find out," Trask said, stepping closer to the hologram. "Transmit another sequence. This time, include visual representations of our solar system and mathematical constants related to pi." The response came swiftly and dramatically, a reaction beyond expectation. The alien vessel emitted a pulse of energy, and the Audax's systems flickered. The hologram shifted, now showing detailed schematics of the UNSC 7th Fleet. Every ship, every weapon system, every defensive measure. How do they know all that? Benton stammered, his face pale. Trask's stomach turned. They scanned us. Neptune, are they accessing our systems? Negative, the AI replied. The data appears to have been obtained externally. They are demonstrating technological superiority. Message from the fleet, Commander? Benton shouted. The Resolute reports their systems were briefly probed, but no breaches occurred. The alien projection altered again, displaying one of the human vessels, a Titan-class dreadnought. Its imposing form, bristling with railguns, missile launchers and plasma cannons, filled the holographic space. The alien envoy hesitated, its colors dimming. Trask frowned. Is it afraid? Before she could speculate further, the alien vessel began to retreat. Slowly at first, then accelerating, it folded in on itself and vanished, leaving nothing but a faint shimmer in the void. The crew of the Audax sat in stunned silence. They just left, Benton said. Why? Trask's mind raced, piecing together the interaction. The aliens had displayed overwhelming power, yet they withdrew after analyzing humanity's fleet. Because, she said finally, they weren't prepared for us. Benton frowned. What do you mean? Their ship was 10 times our size. They could have wiped us out. Trask nodded. But size isn't everything. They scanned our ships, saw our weapons and hesitated. Maybe they've never encountered a species that turns everything into a weapon, something as dangerous to them as it is to us. The bridge was quiet again, the weight of her words sinking in. Humanity had always been defined by its capacity for war, for innovation in the face of danger. Perhaps for the first time that reputation had saved them. As the Audax drifted in the void, Trask issued a final order. Prepare a full report for UNSC Command. This isn't over. They know what we're capable of now, and we know they're watching. The report from the Audax sent ripples through the highest echelons of humanity's leadership. The details were classified within hours, accessible only to the United Nations Space Command's inner circle. Rumors of the alien ship's retreat, and the possibility that humanity's military might have played a role, spread like wildfire. On the bridge of the UNSC flagship Resolute, Admiral Nathan Keegan stood with his arms crossed, staring at the holographic projection of the Oort fringe. Behind him, his officers worked with nervous energy, processing the influx of data from every corner of human-controlled space. The aliens retreated, but they didn't vanish, Keegan said, addressing the assembled senior staff. We have new reports of unidentified energy signatures, similar to those from the Audax encounter, on the outskirts of Alpha Centauri. This isn't a one-time visit. They're testing us. Testing or planning? Commodore Zhao asked, her sharp gaze fixed on Keegan. Does it matter? Keegan replied. Either way, we need to be ready. A show of force. The UNSC wasted no time. Within days, a fleet of over 50 ships was mobilized, ranging from agile frigates to the lumbering Titan-class dreadnoughts that formed the backbone of humanity's military might. The Resolute led the formation, its sleek hull shimmering with the blue glow of its fusion engines. Surrounding it were ships bristling with weaponry, railguns capable of accelerating slugs to near-light speeds, laser arrays designed to carve through the densest armor, and missile bays loaded with warheads engineered for both conventional and exotic threats. Keegan stood on the bridge, his expression grim. Set course for Alpha Centauri. We'll show them what we're capable of. As the fleet engaged its warp drives, the space around them rippled, stars stretching into long, thin lines. The jump was brief, but every second felt like an eternity. When they emerged into the Alpha Centauri system, the alien presence was immediately apparent. A cluster of massive ships hovered near Proxima Centauri's orbital plane. Unlike the singular vessel encountered by the Audax, this was an entire fleet. The ships varied in size and shape, their forms alien yet purposeful. Scanning, Lieutenant Harlow said, her hands flying over the console. Detecting over 100 ships, each larger than our dreadnoughts. Energy signatures are off the charts. Keegan's eyes narrowed. They brought backup. The unveiling. The UNSC fleet held position, maintaining a carefully calculated formation. The alien ships didn't advance, nor did they retreat. Instead, they emitted a low-frequency signal that resonated through the Resolute's hull. It's the same as before, Harlow said. They're sending a message. Patch it through Neptune, Keegan ordered. The AI's voice was calm but tense. Analyzing. Message contains no linguistic structure. It appears to be a visual representation. The main display lit up with a complex pattern of shapes and symbols. Unlike the glyphs encountered by the Audax, these were more intricate, almost fractal-like in their design. What are they trying to say? Commodore Zhao asked. Neptune hesitated. The symbols appear to reference tactical formations and energy output. Keegan's brow furrowed. They're comparing their fleet to ours? A calculated response. The display shifted again, this time showing a simulation. The alien fleet fired beams of energy at holographic representations of human ships, obliterating them in seconds. The projection then reversed, showing humanity's vessels retaliating with railguns and missiles. The alien ships faltered, their shields absorbing the attacks but visibly weakening. They're analyzing our capabilities, Keegan said. Trying to gauge whether they can overpower us. What do we do? Zhao asked. We show them we're not easy prey, Keegan replied. He turned to Harlow. Broadcast our counter message. Include schematics of the Titan-class dreadnoughts, focusing on their weapon systems. Highlight the capabilities of the Dreadpiercer railgun. Harlow hesitated. You want to show them our most powerful weapon? Yes, Keegan said. But make it clear we have more than one. If they're running simulations, let's give them something to worry about. The Dreadpiercer railgun. The Dreadpiercer railgun was humanity's most devastating weapon, a technological marvel capable of launching a slug at a fraction of light speed. Its kinetic energy alone could obliterate a moon-sized target. The UNSC's message was blunt and direct, showing the railgun in action. The simulation depicted it annihilating alien ships with surgical precision. The intent was clear: humanity wasn't to be underestimated. For several tense minutes, the alien fleet remained motionless. Then one of their ships moved forward. Unlike the others, it was smaller, closer in size to a human frigate. It's coming toward us, Harlow said. Let it, Keegan replied. The alien ship stopped just beyond the range of the Resolute's weapons. It emitted another signal, this one more structured than before. The display on the bridge lit up with a series of symbols that Neptune immediately began analyzing. This is different, Neptune said. It's not a simulation. It's an offer. A choice of survival. The alien symbols resolved into two scenarios. In the first, humanity and the aliens engaged in a full-scale war. The simulation showed catastrophic losses on both sides, with planets reduced to ashes and fleets obliterated. In the second scenario, the fleets coexisted, exchanging technology and knowledge. The simulation highlighted the benefits of cooperation: faster-than-light travel, new energy sources, and a shared understanding of the cosmos. They're giving us a choice, Zhao said, her voice low. Keegan's jaw tightened. Or a warning? He turned to Harlow. Send our response. Make it clear we're open to cooperation, but we won't be bullied. Include a visual of our planetary defenses. The message was transmitted, and the alien ship retreated to its fleet. For a long, agonizing moment, nothing happened. Then, one by one, the alien ships powered down their weapons. A fragile truce. The UNSC fleet remained on high alert, their weapons primed, but the aliens made no further moves. Instead, they sent another signal, this one unmistakable. It's a star map, Neptune said, projecting the image onto the main display. It shows a path to a system outside our current charts. Keegan stared at the map, his mind racing. They want us to follow them. That could be a trap, Zhao warned. Or an invitation, Keegan countered. Either way, we can't ignore it. He turned to the crew. Prepare the fleet. Humanity just got its second chance to make history. As the UNSC ships adjusted their formation and prepared to follow the alien coordinates, Keegan felt the weight of the moment. The aliens had been left speechless by humanity's military might, but what lay ahead could redefine everything. The alien star map was unlike anything humanity had seen. A web of glowing pathways threading through the galaxy, pinpointing a system so remote that even the most advanced human probes hadn't charted it. The coordinates were precise, yet the route seemed intentional, as though it avoided dangers unseen to human eyes. Admiral Nathan Keegan stood on the bridge of the Resolute, the map displayed before him in vibrant detail. They want us to follow, Commodore Zhao said, her voice heavy with skepticism. But why lead us so far from known space? Why not communicate directly? Keegan clasped his hands behind his back, his gaze fixed on the display. It's an olive branch, maybe a test. Either way, we're going. And if it's a trap? Lieutenant Harlow asked. Keegan turned, his eyes steady. Then we'll spring it with our guns blazing. The fleet advances. The UNSC fleet reconfigured for long-range travel, moving in a tight formation to minimize vulnerabilities. The ship's warp drives hummed with energy as they prepared to cross an unprecedented distance. The journey took them past the farthest fringes of human exploration, through regions where even the most advanced sensors failed to provide clarity. The stars around them thinned, replaced by vast stretches of blackness that felt unnervingly empty. "Status report," Keegan said, breaking the heavy silence. "Fleet cohesion is stable," Harlow replied. "No signs of pursuit or interference." "And the destination?" Neptune's voice cut through the bridge chatter. "We are 12 hours from the system indicated on the alien map. Preliminary scans show no significant stellar anomalies." Keegan nodded, but the unease in his chest didn't fade. Humanity's weapons had been enough to make the aliens hesitate, but what if this journey revealed why they had been afraid in the first place? The system beyond understanding. When the fleet finally arrived, they emerged into a system unlike anything in human experience. The central star was a brilliant white dwarf, its light casting an eerie glow on the 7 planets orbiting it. The second planet, a massive gas giant, dominated the view with swirling hues of emerald and gold. But it wasn't the planets that drew everyone's attention. Suspended in orbit around the gas giant was an artificial structure. No, not a structure, a megastructure. The object was vast, stretching thousands of kilometers across, its surface etched with glowing runes that pulsed in rhythmic patterns. It was shaped like a massive ring rotating slowly, with smaller satellite-like constructs orbiting it. The energy readings from the object were off the charts. "What is that?" Zhao whispered, her eyes wide. Neptune's voice held an uncharacteristic edge of uncertainty. "It appears to be a Dyson ring, an artificial construct designed to harness the energy of the gas giant." Keegan's jaw tightened. "They led us here to see this. But why?" The arrival of the architects. Before the question could be answered, the alien fleet appeared. Ships phased into existence around the human vessels, their arrival accompanied by a low-frequency hum that resonated through the Resolute's hull. "They're here," Harlow said, her voice barely above a whisper. The alien ships didn't attack. Instead, they formed a perimeter around the megastructure, their positions precise and deliberate. "Open a channel," Keegan ordered. The main display flickered, and the alien envoy appeared once more. This time the projection was clearer, its colors more vibrant. The translucent figure pulsed with light as it displayed a new series of glyphs. Neptune began decoding. "Message translation suggests they are inviting us to approach the structure. They wish to demonstrate something." Keegan's brow furrowed. "Demonstrate what?" Before Neptune could respond, the Dyson ring emitted a beam of light, piercing the void between it and the Resolute. The beam was harmless but carried a torrent of data that flooded the ship's systems. "Admiral?" Harlow exclaimed. "They're transmitting schematics?" "No, it's more than that. It's technology, energy systems, propulsion methods, materials engineering. This is decades, maybe centuries ahead of us." Zhao's eyes narrowed. "They're sharing their knowledge? Or baiting us?" Keegan said. "What's the catch?" "The warning." The alien envoy's projection shifted again, the glyphs now forming a sequence that Neptune quickly translated. "The message indicates a warning," Neptune said. "They are showing us a timeline?" The display changed, showing the megastructure as it was now, followed by a series of rapid images. The Dyson ring cracked and crumbled, its satellites falling into the gas giant. The images continued, showing a cascade of destruction spreading across the system. "What are we looking at?" Harlow asked, her voice trembling. Neptune hesitated. "The glyphs suggest this is a future scenario, a consequence of an approaching external force." Keegan's heart sank. "They're not afraid of us. They're afraid of something else." The abyss stirs. Before the crew could fully process the message, the Dyson ring emitted another pulse. This time it wasn't light but gravity, a wave that rippled through space, shaking every ship in the fleet. "Report," Keegan barked. "Massive gravitational anomaly detected." Harlow shouted. "Something's emerging from the edge of the system." The main display zoomed in on the outer rim, revealing a dark shape moving through the void. It was massive, easily dwarfing even the alien vessels. Its form was hard to discern, as though it bent light around it, making it appear more shadow than substance. "What the hell is that?" Zhao asked, her voice filled with dread. Neptune's tone was grave. "The anomaly matches no known celestial object. It is not a natural phenomenon." The alien envoy's projection flickered again, displaying a single, stark glyph. Neptune translated. "Enemy? Preparing for the unthinkable." The human fleet scrambled into formation, weapons powering up as the shadow advanced. The alien ships did the same, their sleek forms glowing with an intensity that suggested they were preparing for a fight they might not win. Keegan turned to his crew. Send a message to the fleet. Tell them to hold position. We're not making the first move. Zhao glanced at him. What if they need our help? Keegan's expression was grim. Then we'll give it. But we need to see what we're up against first. As the shadow drew closer, the Dyson ring activated, its glowing runes pulsing in unison. Beams of energy shot from the satellites, converging on the dark shape. The beams struck with a force that should have obliterated any known material, but the shadow didn't falter. Instead it retaliated. A wave of energy erupted from the anomaly, slamming into the alien ships in the Dyson ring. The human fleet felt the shockwave, their shields straining to absorb the impact. Damage report. Keegan shouted. Shields holding but barely, Harlow replied. The Dyson ring is taking the brunt of it. The alien envoy's projection appeared one last time, its glyphs frantic. Neptune translated. Unite or perish. Keegan's decision was instant. All ships target that anomaly. Show them what humanity can do. As the fleet opened fire, humanity and the aliens faced the unknown together, their survival hinging on a fragile alliance and their collective strength. The human fleet's combined firepower unleashed a dazzling barrage of light and energy, filling the void with streaks of railgun slugs, missile trails and coherent beams of laser fire. The anomaly, a hulking shadow of incomprehensible proportions, absorbed the attacks without faltering. Direct hits across the board, Lieutenant Harlow reported, her voice strained. No measurable effect. On the main display, the Dyson ring retaliated with its own overwhelming arsenal. Its glowing runes synchronized and columns of energy lanced outward, carving through the darkness like divine wrath. The anomaly shuddered, momentarily destabilized, but its counterattack was swift and devastating. The anomaly emitted a low-frequency hum that resonated through the fleet, disrupting systems and shaking hulls. 2 alien ships disintegrated instantly, their energy shielding collapsing like paper under a tidal wave. Shields at critical. Commodore Zhao yelled. We can't hold this line much longer. Admiral Keegan gritted his teeth, his mind racing. Neptune, give me options. The enemy revealed. Neptune's voice was tight, its usual calm replaced with urgency. The anomaly appears to function as a hyperdimensional entity. Its physical form is a projection into our space. Standard weaponry is ineffective because it operates outside conventional physics. Then what can hurt it? Keegan demanded. The AI hesitated. The Dyson ring. Its energy output is capable of destabilizing the projection. However, it requires sustained support. If the ring fails, the anomaly will breach its defenses and consume the system. What do you mean consume? Zhao asked, her voice sharp. The anomaly feeds on gravitational and energetic phenomena, Neptune explained. If it gains access to the Dyson ring's core, it could expand exponentially, threatening neighboring systems and eventually the galaxy. Keegan's decision was immediate. All ships coordinate fire with the Dyson ring. Prioritize protecting it at all costs. The tides of battle. The human fleet shifted into a defensive formation, creating a buffer around the alien megastructure. Frigates darted forward, deploying countermeasures and decoy drones to distract the anomaly's attacks. Larger vessels, including the Titan-class dreadnoughts, focused their weapons on any part of the shadow that showed signs of disruption. Missiles away, Harlow announced. Impact in 10 seconds. The display showed the projectiles streaking toward the anomaly. This time, they detonated in a coordinated burst, creating a ripple that spread across its dark surface. For a moment, the shadow recoiled. It's working, Zhao exclaimed. But the celebration was short-lived. The anomaly retaliated with a gravitational pulse that sent shockwaves through the fleet. Several human ships spun out of formation, their engines failing to compensate. Keegan slammed a fist against his console. Hold the line. Regroup and cover our disabled vessels. Unity in adversity. The alien fleet, once hesitant and aloof, now moved in perfect synchronization with the humans. Their ships deployed barriers of shimmering energy that absorbed the anomaly's attacks, buying precious seconds for the Dyson ring to recharge its offensive capabilities. Keegan watched as an alien vessel sacrificed itself, ramming into a tendril of the shadow to protect a human frigate. The gesture was unmistakable, solidarity in the face of extinction. They're fighting for us, Harlow said, awe in her voice. Keegan nodded grimly. And we're fighting for them. This isn't just their war or ours, It's survival. The final gambit. The Dyson ring's runes pulsed brighter than ever before, signaling a buildup of energy so massive it caused the surrounding space to warp. The alien envoy's projection appeared again, its glyphs frantic. "They're signaling an overload," Neptune said. "The ring is preparing a final, concentrated attack. But it needs time to charge." "How much time?" Keegan asked. 10 minutes, the AI replied. "But the anomaly will breach the ring's defenses in 5. Keegan's mind worked furiously. "Zhao, take command of the fleet. Coordinate a full-scale assault to buy the ring those extra minutes." "And you?" Zhao asked, her expression alarmed. "I'm taking the Resolute into the anomaly," Keegan said. The bridge fell silent. "Admiral, that's suicide," Harlow said. "It's a calculated risk," Keegan replied. "The Resolute's reactor can generate a localized gravitational field strong enough to disrupt the anomaly's cohesion. If we destabilize it from within, we can give the ring a chance to finish the job." The sacrifice. The Resolute surged forward, its engines blazing. The rest of the fleet tightened their formation, their combined firepower creating a temporary barrier to shield the flagship's approach. Inside the Resolute, Keegan stood tall, addressing his crew. "This is our moment. Humanity has faced extinction before, and every time we've risen stronger. Today is no different. We carry the hopes of not just Earth but our newfound allies. Let's show them what it means to be human." The crew saluted, their resolve unshaken. As the Resolute neared the anomaly, the shadow writhed, sensing the threat. Tendrils of darkness lashed out, but the ship's shields held firm. Keegan guided the vessel into the heart of the shadow, its sensors overwhelmed by the sheer density of the anomaly's form. A blinding light. Inside the anomaly, the Resolute's reactor reached critical mass. Keegan's voice echoed through the comms one last time. "To the fleet and to humanity, never stop fighting." The Resolute detonated, unleashing a gravitational shockwave that rippled outward. The anomaly convulsed, its form collapsing as the shockwave disrupted its hyperdimensional stability. The Dyson ring seized the opportunity. Its runes flared brighter than a star, and a final, concentrated beam of energy lanced through the anomaly. The shadow disintegrated, its remnants scattering like ashes in the wind. Aftermath. The void was silent. Where the anomaly had loomed, there was now only the distant light of stars. The Dyson ring powered down, its runes dimming to a faint glow. The human fleet regrouped, their numbers diminished but their spirits unbroken. Commodore Zhao stood on the bridge of the nearest dreadnought, her eyes fixed on the empty space where the Resolute had been. "Admiral Keegan," she whispered, her voice filled with both sorrow and pride. The alien envoy's projection appeared one last time, displaying a single glyph. Neptune translated. "Honor. A new dawn." The battle forged a bond between humanity and the alien civilization, one built not on fear or mistrust but on mutual respect. The technology shared by the Dyson ring became the foundation for a new era of exploration and cooperation. Keegan's sacrifice became legend, a reminder of humanity's unyielding spirit in the face of the unknown. And as the stars called once more, humanity and its new allies stood ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, together.